Okay, so I want to go live because just this past week, first off, it was Holy Week. So, to all observing, it's Good Friday and Easter weekend. So, this past week, my lease ended and I moved out of my place in Paris. And I want to talk about how to move on from people, places, things without being a sociopath, right? In a way, in a way that it's not sociopathic. So what I've learned, I mean, I think this move, I've had countless moves in my life, with family, with just myself, but uh, usually in my adult years, it's been for an opportunity, right, for work or whatever. But I'll say what I've learned, how I've learned how to do this, is it's all about the reframing, right? So first off, when I have to go through all my things, like literally going through like every like room to room, drawer to drawer, um, every bit in the wardrobe. I'm like, okay, let's reframe this. This is Marie Kondo. This is my Marie Kondo moment. Otherwise, maybe it's gonna be really hard to carve out the time to go through all of your belongings and make an assessment about does it stay, does it go, yay or nay. And I'll be honest, it is probably the most stressful part because I agonize less and less so, but I do tend to agonize over everything. Like, does this stay with me? Does this go to which continent? Does this go to Africa? Does it go to, am I going to take this to my family's place in Africa, or should this go back to the States, or should it stay with me in Europe? Like, what am I doing? What am I doing with this one item? Or is it being donated, or is it just like, it just has to be, is it rubbish? Like, what is happening with this thing? And I think I'm at a place now with all my things because I've moved so much. What I do own and what I keep is something that I'm really intentional about. And I'm really not a huge shopper either. Doesn't mean I don't love fashion. Doesn't mean I don't love, beautiful things. I'm just not so keen on consuming anymore. And I think a lot of it is because of um, just having a nomadic career, having an international career has made me pause about the things that I love and I want to purchase. And I'm like, do I really need that though? Like I'm really, really thoughtful about what I purchase because of that. And so when it does come to a move and going through my things and assessing them, everything I have is really something I've really thought about. Everything that I've purchased and decided to keep with me is something I really, really, really thought about. So now, actually, even though I don't have a ton of things compared to some people, or even compared to like growing up, um, I'm like super lean now. Everything is something to me. But what I've noticed with this move is that I'm far less attached to things I bought myself. And my real attachments now are to things that are gifts. Things that have been gifted to me mean so much. Even if like it was a gift that somebody just, you went to like I don't know, like the trinket shop when you were on your vacation and you just like grabbed a handful of gifts to just give to friends and family when you saw them again. I don't care. That gift, just the fact that in that moment you considered getting me something, and in the moment you gave it to me, you gave me something, because I don't see all of my friends and family around the world all the time. Whenever I do see a gift from somebody uh, in my living space, it reminds me of them, even if it's for like a very fleeting moment. So like whether it's like, there's a blanket a friend of mine gave me when I was sick in the US. She came by my place and dropped it off. Um, there there's a remedy book from my mother. There's that my sister gave to me when she was passing through Paris. The mugs my brother got from Poland, the hand painted mugs. um, One of my Tunisian friends got me like something with something from Greece while she was there, I think for like a bridal shower. Like all these little things, you know. A friend from DC, she got me this really, really cute painting for my place. Like all these, not so little things, right? All these things to me are so meaningful, and sometimes the gifts, I can't keep them with me with every move, right? Or any, that's the same with any object, maybe just because they're worn out, or it's just kind of impractical to carry. um Whatever the case, I even when I have to let go of something, I really there's like still this sense of gratitude when I have to let it go. It's still a sense of sadness, but gratitude. But it in the moment, like when I possess the thing, gifts I think are just really what matter the most to me. Even like, postcards, and it doesn't matter. It does not matter if it was a gift from someone to me. It means the most to me. Definitely has the most value. I feel like everything else can be replaced, but the thing that person got you in that moment and brought to you, and that moment that you shared when you received the thing, yeah, these things are really invaluable and so important. So that's what I realized. To me, the most valuable things I have in my possession are gifts from others. Um, Things I buy myself, those things can be replaced, even if I got them in special circumstances, And let me explain to you why I, for the most part, kind of stopped buying souvenirs for myself, despite any travel I was doing. And I was moving around this month as well. Last month in March. Went back to one of my favorite countries, Italy. Love Italy. And was lucky enough to spend my birthday there. And but there's a reason why I don't so much buy souvenirs anymore. Because when I was younger, I used to collect a ton of stuff from all my travels, like any and everything. I mean, I just think I thought one day I'll just scrapbook all of it, Postcards from back when the Twin Towers were still in New York. Um, just all types of things, all types of trinkets, all types of things maybe I would find in my travel, in my suitcases, like after a trip, tickets to different shows, and um, you know, any and everything I would collect. I would keep them. And when I was living in Southeast Asia, something happened with my storage. 'Cause I had some things in storage, and I had this particular case. I'll call it a Zanzibar chest. I would call it Zanzibar chest. It wasn't like a legitimate Zanzibar chest from the islands of Tanzania, but it was my Zanzibar chest, right? And I had a bunch of stuff in there. Anyway, it just got lost somehow, and it was no longer in my possession. It was a whole thing, and and I bawled my eyes out, like when I learned, like, oh, like where's my, like, what happened to my stuff? Where is it? Um, and Yeah, I think I'd had my stuff with someone, and then like it ended up in storage, but I'm not really blaming anyone in this at all. Like, whatever. But I bawled my eyes out, like, oh, all these things I've been collecting over the years. Da, 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 da. And I think, I mean, maybe it helped that I was already in Southeast Asia, but I kind of learned the Buddhist way of just letting things go, like learning how to just let things go and accept. And it was actually good, I think, also being around a lot of people who were traveling and had also lost things during their travels through Asia as well, like iPhones and iPods and things that we thought were so valuable, and just really learning how to just be like, okay, it's fine. Do we need these worldly things? Do we need these worldly possessions? Like really learning how to reassess. And I think then is when I stopped collecting material things that I could touch. Maybe I think at the time maybe took more appreciation in photos I was taking, but even now, even less so, because I think now a lot of our photos stay in the cloud. And now I'm just in a place of just appreciating the moment. I was there, the experience, I was there, the life chapter, I was there. And I think that's sufficient for me. I think I'm getting to that place where I don't need anything material, tangible to appreciate, recognize, hold on to the thing, that moment in time. And yeah, so yeah, you can say I've just kind of learned to not have an attachment to things. One of my favorite spiritual teachers, Eckhart Tolle, German guy, he he has some wonderful books about this. And when I was moving from the UK to US, I finished up one of his books. I'll put that information below, but he really talked about learning to let go of your attachment to things. And it's been so freeing. It doesn't mean I don't like nice things. Please. Doesn't mean I can't appreciate beauty in the nice thing. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate that some material things are assets. Okay, I'm not saying I want to live in a tent or sleep on a park bench. All right, that's not what I'm saying here. but there is something about the consumerism I grew up with in the United States as a child. Boy, oh my gosh, don't get me started on American consumerism back in the day. Oh boy, we had to have it, baby. We had to have it. Toys R Us, like the malls, shopping centers, we had to have it. Everything that was on Nickelodeon, Disney, baby, we had to have it. We had to have it. And it just feels so different now. It feels so different now. Like just garages full of stuff, like playrooms full of stuff, baby room full of like just nurseries, closets full of things. My goodness, like I don't know how our parents did it. I don't know how we managed like psychologically just accumulating things. We really did. But anyway, it feels really different now, like thinking back to it. And yeah, just having that Marie Kondo moment these last few weeks to go through every single thing. And yes, it is a bit of an agony to go through every single thing and say, where is this going? But when it's all said and done, you know that everything that you've kept is something that you have found value in. You were intentional about it, living intentionally. And that anything you let go with love, gratitude. Thanks for this. Thankful I was able to buy the thing. Thankful I was able to be gifted the thing. Even sometimes I don't remember where things come from, which is less and less as I go, but sometimes I don't remember where things come from. But even that, I don't know where this came from, but thanks for it. It must have been of use at the time. So yeah, it was a really good spiritual exercise, mental exercise. I think in my head, if I sat down with a notepad, I think I could go through and literally write down every single thing that is in my possession. And it is utterly freeing. Because I don't think my parents could have done that when I was a child. And like same with all our neighbors and all my friends, families. No way. Anyway, so that's how I let go of things without being sociopath. Is really Marie Kondo, intentional living, right? And gratitude for all things, whether you hold on to them or you let them go. And so that's how I let go of things. How I let go of people. This is not possible for me, actually. I don't let go of people. It's not possible. Now, if they've crossed over, may their souls rest in peace. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about I am firmly in a place now. I don't have goodbyes. There are no goodbyes. I mean, unless I really don't like you. But even then, like, I'm not even in that place really. I'm in a place of accepting people to a degree, you know. I have my boundaries, but uh, even with people, I am now in a place where I live for reunions. I'm living for my reunions. You know, we had this old little song when we were girls: "Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold." Um, yeah, making friends, but keep the old. So all my old friends were once my new friends. You know, I think I do have friends back in DC, some Ugandan friends who I was at we were at each other's like first birthday parties. Shout out to them. I mean, those were like literally my original friends, okay, because we could not even speak at the time when we were celebrating each other's birthdays and hanging out, spending time together. Um, those are my original like OG friends. But otherwise, every new friend is now an old one, right? So um, another thing I've liked about, you know, what I like about living in Paris and what I've liked about living in London is that these are major cities that a lot of people transit through. And so it's easy to have reunions with friends and family, people who are passing through. It's been absolutely lovely. Like just it just brightens, it just is such a bright spot. My week, my day, my month, my season, when people are able to visit, whether intentionally just for me or because they have something going on with work, schools, some opportunity, whatever. Or you know, they're like doing like a side, you know, a bit of a side travel. I just love being able to reunite with people. And what makes it, what allows me to say, let's say, let go of people without being a sociopath is because I genuinely believe that I can see people again. I mean, there are people I've reunited with. I've not seen them in like a decade or more. Like I can't even remember last time I saw them. It doesn't matter. And now with, you know, one of the best things, one of the real silver linings about, you know, social media and internet, and we say we need to spend more time in real life, but one of the best things about it is that it's easy for us to keep in touch with folks and to find each other again. And you know, people who want to be found. Some people don't want to be found. Some people don't want to be found. I understand. But it's much easier to facilitate uh reunions, you know. It's not so laborious and impossible. It's not an impossible thing. So in my head, I genuinely believe I don't know when I'll be able to reunite with somebody, you know. I love, one of the things I love about when I go back to Kampala is I have literally run into people that, you know, I used to work with, and just like surprised, like, hey, what's up with you? Or like run into people at the grocery store, run into people at the pool or the restaurant, or um, and it's so lovely, you know. So sometimes it's planned, sometimes it's not planned, but I just keep that open heart to life. You don't know when you're gonna, you know, you're gonna turn a corner and like be able to see an old buddy. And sometimes you're able to introduce some old friends to new friends, and then, you know, your network just grows like that. People from old chapters into new chapters. Um, and there's just so many beautiful possibilities. I don't think when I say goodbye to people, again, I don't really say goodbye to people, but when I, you know, I see you later, I really do mean it now, because I really might see you later. Like, I think we're pretty mobile these days. Um, People getting around. I just don't feel like anything is completely final. Nothing really feels too final for me unless you, you know, you really cross over. Otherwise, I think if you still have breath on earth and you still, you know, want to link up, there might be a potential for us to link up. So, yeah, for me, it's not. there aren't any real goodbyes to me. It's just potential for beautiful reunions in the future. And this has really um, helped me be able to move on from, you know, great teams I've had at work, great colleagues that I've been super collegial with and like really become friends with, uh, neighbors that became part of my life routine, my life chapter. Um, just it's a little different with family, though. That's a little bit of a different category, like the immediate family, but that's probably like the hardest. But I've had my family visit me in Paris, so that's been cool. And the work, um, my work in Paris has allowed me to go spend extended time with my family in East Africa as well, which was such a privilege that wasn't, I don't think that was never a possibility for me in other positions in other countries. So you never know. Like you just never know. Like life is still always renewing and you never know what's gonna come up. You know what I mean? So it's a see you later. It's a see you later. And again, like gratitude for the time that you had with certain people when it was a routine for them to be in your life. They became part of your life story, that life chapter in the moment. But for me, I really believe in forever friends. Forever friends. Like for me, I don't need to see you every day for you to be my forever friend. I don't need to hear from you every day. It's fine if you want to leave me a voice note every day, like a podcast. That's all right. I leave my friends' voice notes. It's not always easy to be able to catch up live. Um, and sometimes you just don't have bandwidth for it, and that's okay too. Doesn't matter. Forever friends. Really. That's really my attitude. So I'm living for reunions. And that's how I'm able to move on from people without being a sociopath, right? In the non-sociopathic way. Just see people as forever friends that you may have a beautiful reunion with in the future. And then in terms of places, how to move on from places without being a sociopath? Well, I think we have to take our ego out of it. When you, how do I feel? There aren't a lot of places I fly into and fly out of, uh, or still have a sense of home. I think I think where my parents are probably the only places I felt like that. So I'll give an example with Kampala. With Kampala. So when I fly into Uganda changes quite. It's quite dynamic in Africa. Like there is just a lot of change quickly in ways that you don't really see in other places. When you fly in, and I fly in, I feel like, again, ego out of it. Like this place is humming and buzzing with or without me in there. you know, they don't need me. All of us on this plane landing into Entebbe Airport. This place kept humming and buzzing without us. Now, not taking away from all the people who are sending remittances home. I'm not talking about that, but just generally speaking, right? And same when I fly out, when I leave Kampala, I've never left Entebbe Airport with a dry eye, never. But maybe as a kid, but not as an adult. But even when I take off from Entebbe, I just think this place is gonna keep buzzing with or without me in there. They don't need me. They'll be all right. If they'll be all right, I'll be all right. And so I think this is at the very highest level how I've learned how to not have such an attachment to places. Again, very hard if you consider that place home and your immediate family's there and everything. But uh it just is what it is, right? Like the place is gonna keep turning without you. Um yeah, I mean unless you are like, I don't know, you're a royal family fleeing to, you're going into exile. Okay, that's a little different. I'm not talking about these extremes here. I'm just talking about, your layman, lay woman coming in out of a city or a location. Um, Now I know it's maybe different if you're talking about like your home, your actual home, where you have routine, you're there with your family. That's different. That's hard, and I don't have an answer for that one. You're gonna have to feel what you feel. You're going to have to feel what you feel about being in and out of a family home. That's the hardest. And I do get emotional. And because home is when I feel safe. It's like I don't need to be more than who I am. Nobody cares so much about, uh, you know, oh, who do you work for? Where do you live? How much you earning? What industry are you in? Like, validate your presence and your existence in this room right now. It's none of that when you're home. Okay, granted, if you have African parents growing up, they are going to be on your butt about like, what are you doing with your life? Like, are you being a high functioning adult? Like, what are you doing with your life? I want you to succeed. I'm not saying that, like after a while, they just accept whatever you're doing or not doing for the most part. At least if you're at least decently or at least halfway high functioning, they'll accept you. But I yeah, there's such a safety in home if, of course, you get on with your folks, you're not in a dysfunctional place. There is a feeling of, at least for me, you know, going and living in like different continents and different countries and everything, all people care about is like your credentials, like that's it. But when you're home, it's like there's the safety of like you're kind of already given legitimacy because it's like, oh, you're at least in a very communal culture like Ugandan culture, it's like, oh, you're so and so's cousin, oh, you're so and so's daughter or granddaughter. Oh, okay, cool. Like, yeah, like you're part of the tribe. What's up? Um like, oh, I know your auntie. Oh, I know your oh wait, I went to school with your brother. Oh, I went to school with your sister. It's this feeling of like not this over concern with my credentials. So home, for many, many reasons, is a very, very special place for me. And it is harder um, to kind of let go without any emotion because it's such a weight that I like can put down, like, or not a mask so much. I do try to move in the world with the level of just like, hey, this is me. It's so much a mask, but yeah, there's a weight. It's like I'm a sister, daughter, auntie, cousin right now. Like, that's all I need to be. No one's overly concerned with what I can do for them and at what cost. So anyway, I'm rambling a bit about places because places is it's, I don't know, it's a little bit different because places, like, what do you mean by places, right? You mean your actual like home or like a country, a city. So it just depends on how you feel about the place. I know I've left cities where I was ready to leave, and so I was very okay with having a big old goodbye party, right? And then and then there were places where I've left and I just went through the motions because I didn't feel so great about leaving. So I literally just went through the motions. But no matter what, I think the most important thing is gratitude. Gratitude for the fact that you have a place that you love, the fact that you've had great memories in that place, the fact that you, um, let's say if you didn't love the place, well, that you now have the opportunity to move on from the place. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I know it sounds a bit cliche now, but I don't know how else really to close a chapter without how else can you close a chapter without showing, just putting all the good vibrations out there for the thing. If you want more of the good things, you have to be grateful for what is ending, what is being closed, what you're moving on from. I don't think there's any other way. You just have to have a level of gratitude. And so even when I was leaving my place in Paris, I absolutely said a prayer of gratitude because I moved into that place sight unseen. Okay. Sight unseen, it could have been a cell block. It could have been a cell block and it wasn't. And I was so relieved. I was so relieved and I was so lucky I got to live by this beautiful park in the south of the city, literally right across the street from a big, beautiful park. And you know how important that is in urban life, right? So like having a little oasis just across that I could go when the weather was nice and read and take lunch and all those things are blessings. And yeah, my place had lots of beautiful natural light and just very calm and peaceful, and yeah, all these things matter. And so I had to just really express gratitude before moving on from that place. And you know and just being covered. I mean, shelter is not something to take for granted. You know how easy in America it is to become homeless, okay? To be working homeless in the United States. So really, truly gratitude. Um, let me see. I really want to talk now about French tech. I really want to talk about French tech. I don't know if this is the time to do it, really. Okay, that might have to be another topic for another time, just because it's getting to dinner time and I got to think about dinner. So maybe next week, I will talk about French tech. And, France wants to be like an epicenter of AI. And I've got a lot to say about whether that's possible or not. Someone wrote a really great Substack talking about Station F. I love Station F, love being over there in Paris. It's like the startup hub. But realistically, can France be like an AI epicenter? I have a lot of thoughts about that. I do. Okay, but for now, I think I need to prioritize dinner. So, okay, bisous, and everyone have a beautiful Easter weekend. And yeah, till next week. Bye.